I gotta see what happens next. Hi guys, this is Connie, and I think I make that my intro way too many times. So, here's Connie reads Max the Mighty, chapter 28. 2 more chapters I think I have left. Yeah. Suddenly Worm says goodbye. That's the title. Ruh-roh. Only a total moron would run into a deep dark mine without a flashlight, but I don't have time to think about it because I know where Worm is going. The mine shaft. The place where we prayed, and she felt she was safe from all the bad things in the world, and nothing could touch her. I've got this terrible empty feeling inside, like that falling dream you have just before you go to sleep, only I'm wide awake and it won't stop. Rachel, I'm calling out. Wait up! Wait for me! But her running feet keep skittering ahead of me in the darkness. The thing is, because I have to scrunch down to keep from bumping my head, Worm can run a lot faster than me. And even scrunched over, I keep banging into things, the sides of the tunnel and the timbers and stuff. I'm not the only one chasing Worm. The others are back there behind me. Grim and Dip and Sheriff Goodman and the Undertaker too, which makes me run all the faster because if he gets to her first, there's no telling what will happen. Running faster turns out to be a mistake. Smack! Before I know what's happening, I'm flat on my back with my nose swelling up like a banana, where I smacked it against the wall. Fork in the tunnel, and I hit it face first. So now I've got 2 tunnels to choose from, and no time to mess around. I try to shake the ringing out of my ears and listen for those running feet. Pitter-pat, pitter-pat. Hide and seek, except for her, it's just the hide part. She doesn't want anybody to find her. Not ever. Go right, my brain tells me. The tunnel slopes down pretty steep, which makes sense because when we came up from the opposite direction, it slanted up toward the light, down into the darkness. Rachel, please wait! That's when I notice a faint beam of light flickering far ahead. Worm has her miner's light on, which makes me feel a little better because at least she won't fall into the mine shaft. Not if she can see it first. Or that's what I'm hoping. That's what keeps me going, even though I can't seem to get enough air to breathe, and my feet feel like they're made of lead. Mostly what's wrong with me is I'm afraid. Afraid Worm is going to get hurt or killed, and it will be my fault. Your fault, my brain says. Don't be a bonehead. How could it be your fault? Because I made her think I'd keep her safe, and then I didn't. That's why. Because even though I said there was no such thing as Max the Mighty, I really thought there was, and it turned out to be a lie. But you didn't mean to hurt her, my brain says. So what? It's still my fault, I'm thinking. If you want to be a superhero, you have to get it right. That's the deal. I'm thinking so hard, my feet get tangled up and I go down, skidding along the slanted floor, getting closer and closer to the flickering light. When I finally came to a stop, I put my hands out to push myself up from the floor, but there is no floor. I'm right on the edge of the mine shaft. Inch by inch, I wiggle backward until I'm clear of the edge and my heart can start beating again. You shouldn't have come here, Worm says. I have to do this by myself. At first I can't see her. All I can see is the miner's light bobbing around. After a while, I can make out the shadow of that has the shape of her. And that's when my heart wants to stop again, because she's standing right on the edge of the mine shaft. Be careful, I say. You'll fall in. So what? She says softly. My dad is dead. My mom might as well be dead. Married to a creep like that. Things would be a whole lot easier if I was dead too. She's on the other side of the shaft where I can't get to her right away. Say something, my brain tells me. I want to tell her that life is like the books she reads, and no matter how bad things look, it'll all work out in the end. That's another big lie, but I'll say anything to stop her from going over the edge. The problem is, I'm so scared that my mouth won't work. I know you tried, she said, and I kept pretending it would be okay, but it isn't okay. He'll get me. Nobody can stop him. I'm on my hands and knees, creeping along in slow motion. No sudden moves, but the closer I get to her, the closer she gets to the edge. I go, Max the Mighty can stop him. Max the Mighty can save you. She moves even closer to the edge. There's no such thing, she says. I made it up. Remember? That stops me in my tracks, because I know in my bones that if I didn't have an answer, Worm will slip over the edge, and it has to be the right answer, and it has to be true. I'm kind of surprised when my mouth starts talking, like it already knows what to say, without me having to think about it. You're right, I say. You made it up. I'm just plain Max, and I'll never read as many books as you, or be as smart as you, but I do know one thing. You know how bad you feel about your father, and how much you miss him. I feel that bad about my mom and my best friend Kevin, and if I lose you, I'll feel even worse all the time, every day for the rest of my life, and that's the truth. I'm staring across the mine shaft at a miner's light, staring with all my might, hoping I said the right thing. Suddenly Worm says, "Goodbye," and then the miner's light is falling. It spins over end, falling down, down, and down, getting smaller and smaller until the darkness swallows it up, and I'm all alone in the dark. It feels like part of me is falling with the light and will keep falling forever. Stupid, stupid, stupid! And then a warm hand finds my big stupid face in the dark, and Worm says, I gave my father back his light, so he can find his way in the dark, like I did. I've got Worm by the hand, and we're going slow and careful, heading up through the shadows to the surface of the world. She's afraid, but that doesn't stop her. You've got to promise, she says, friends for life, no matter what, no matter how many fights we have or how many stupid things we say to each other. I hate fights, I say, but I can't help saying stupid things sometimes. But you promise? I go, promise. And then Worm asks me to crouch down, and she gives me a quick little kiss. For luck. We're going to need it. We're coming into the rosy light of sunset when the ground starts shaking under our feet. Rumble. Rumble. Like the whole mine is clearing its throat and getting ready to cough. There's a sound like wood splitting, and then something heavy falls, thump, and makes the ground shake again. Up ahead of us, not too far away, somebody groans. Help me, a familiar voice says. Help me or I'll die. I had to see what happens next, so future Connie decided to edit it out because I rolled right into chapter 29, but you get to hear that later. Be careful with that and enjoy, please, and thank you. Bye. I got so excited in my reading that I ended up reading ahead.